and welcome to the Scramble. I'm your host, Adrienne Lefebvre. Today we have a number of topics that are sure to give our panelists plenty to talk about. Back with us is Robert Roselle III, Brittany Arrington, Janelle Vanoy, and we have a new face for you today, Elena Pagosian. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Elena Pagosian, and I'm a UNLV student, journalism major actually, and I'm happy to be here.
And it's great to have you with us today.
Thank you.
All right on to the first topic. The FDA has voted to approve a drug that can prevent users from contracting the HIV virus. The administration has approved Truvada for use by people who are considered high risk for contracting the virus, such as gay and bisexual couples and heterosexual couples with one HIV-positive partner. Robert Roselle and Brittany Arrington spent some time on the campus to hear what UNLV students think.
The FDA has approved the drug Truvada, which prevents the user, if taken properly, from contracting the HIV virus. Students around campus feel this drug will only increase promiscuity in the society.
I think it depends on how it is distributed and people have access to it. If it is something that everybody can get their hands on, I think it probably will lead to more risky behavior because you can take it and be confident that you're not going to get AIDS.
I could see it leading to more risky behaviors just because if people are not at risk of getting an STD such as AIDS, what's the use of condoms and whatnot? So I see higher pregnancies, higher abortion rates.
It's going to cause them to have riskier behavior, so like less discretion with who they're having sex with, and then also just less condom use. Like, that's terrible. That's terrible. That's the worst thing that they could ever do.
It's hard to say because I can see like the benefits on both sides of it. I mean, I think it's great that they're using it for people who do have HIV right now and helping cure them from that disease. But I do think that if you give it to people who don't have HIV, it will kind of lead more to, well, I'm taking this drug, so I don't really have to get tested before I, become intimate with this person. And I can see how it would lead to more promiscuity.
All right, let's start the discussion. Elena, you're the newbie. Do you think that this drug is something that can seriously combat the spread of HIV, or do you think it will lead to riskier behavior?
Well, I think in any case, let's look at birth control. Birth control, some people use it not as a contraceptive, but for other reasons, mostly girls in swim team, anyone active in sports. So of course there is risky behavior involved with it if you don't use it properly. But all in all, I think it's a good thing. If you're,
help.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I can't really argue with it being a bad thing, with the exception of if you're going to release it into high-risk areas, as was said. Are the people who are going to be taking it, making sure they're following up with their doctor, making sure they're taking the drug consistently like they're supposed to every day. I think there's something like once you start taking it, you need to continue taking it in order for the drug to be effective. I think the scary thing is if they are taking it and they stop taking it for some reason and then contract the virus and then go back on to taking Truvada or taking the drug to continue this preventative measure, even though they already have the virus. Does it mutate the virus? Does it, make a drug-resistant strain? I mean, there's just so many different complications and things of that nature that could happen. So it's a good thing. You're fighting the HIV virus. That's a good thing. It's a step in the right direction. But I feel like why we have condoms.
Right.
Why decide, okay, have healthy people take this instead of just wearing condoms? Why?
I feel, I want to piggyback off that because, like you said, only 10% of the people that did it, I did some research, only 10% followed it correctly. And if 10% of the girls who are on birth control that aren't using a condom when they're having sex, they would all be pregnant because just like with this drug, if you don't take your birth control every single day, you're at high risk, which you're most likely going to get pregnant. It's almost like impossible not to because you're so used to it. And if your body is used to taking this drug and you're having sex with, say someone does have HIV and you love them and you're like, oh, well, I love you. Oh, well, I'm taking the drug. It'll last till tomorrow. And you don't take it and you get it, it's over. That's it. You got it. There's nothing you can do about it. And it's the scariest thing I think I've ever heard.
So do you think that, Janelle, let's weigh in here, is it a false sense of security, or do you think it will be something that can lead to riskier behavior with giving people that sense that they are being safe?
I think it's one of those situations where it's a catch-22. And I say this, I know I mentioned this probably last week on another topic. It's catch-22 because it is a good thing, especially for those who already have the HIV/AIDS virus to control and help it. But you have so many people these days that practice already risky behavior, thinking that AIDS and HIV or anything can never happen to them. And then once they get it, which it takes up to 6 months to even see the symptoms that you have it, it's already too late. And they feel like this drug is automatically going to cure them. So it's a give and take thing. And then it's one of those situations, if they put it out there and it's available, are they going to make a generic version for those who can't afford the expensive version of the Truvada? So it goes into a whole different subject, and it's going to be covered under health care and all these different things. So right now it sounds good until you go into the politics and the money and the economy and all this different stuff. Because most people anybody can get in different classes, but the majority of the people are going to be those that are on drugs, homosexual couples that don't use protection and things of that nature. And even those that already have it, they're still trying to control it because they can't afford the drugs they have out now to control it.
Right. I mean, when you mention the monetary aspect of it, this is something that is already in use now in antiretroviral cocktails to help people deal with HIV virus already. They just happen to find out that, this actually prevents it. So now you're releasing the drug, by itself now, not in conjunction with all these other things, right. And now you're making more money off of that because now, think about that. Let's say you're charging $50 for that whole cocktail that people who already have the HIV virus are taking just to get them through, so that they can live a little bit longer. You find out that part of that drug can prevent it. So now you have a whole different client base that you can sell.
Many questions.
Oh yeah, so there's a ton of different aspects to this particular thing.
Let's explore a little bit what you brought up earlier, and since the drug, it's a new drug, it's admittedly not 100% effective. How do you address the concerns of there becoming a drug-resistant strain to this virus? Elena, do you want to?
I personally, I agreed with Janelle and Robert. I think that, I think it's great that they found a cure for, not a cure, a prevention for HIV and AIDS. But that's remember the cancer, how many cures did they find for that? And then they went back, they had to do some studies, and I think they just threw this out there with so many symptoms with it, and I think it's very scary finding that you can spread something worse than before you took the drug initially. So, I think that they should go back, maybe take it off the market, and they should do
some more
further.
Testing.
Right. I feel like there definitely has to be more testing with regards to that aspect, because to think that someone could be to think that somebody could be taking this drug, come off of it for a day, 2 days. I've been prescribed medication I'm supposed to take every day, pain medication, something like that. I don't take it every day. If I'm feeling okay, I wouldn't take it.
Right.
You know what I mean? To think that you could go from there.
We're gonna have to wrap it up. We're gonna take a short break, but we will be right back. Stay with us.
Just like the Air Force Thunderbird pilot I flew with, I have to make split-second decisions as a top fuel driver. Hi, I'm Brandon Bernstein, driver for Kenny Bernstein's 2010 Copart Lucas Oil Top Fuel Dragster. To make it in the NHRA, I've had to work hard, stay focused, and make smart decisions along the way. To reach your goals, you need to think straight, stay on track, and give your very best effort in everything you do. Make the right choices today and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Over half the people waiting for an organ transplant in the United States will die before they get one. You can increase your chances of getting a life-saving organ donation by joining Life Sharers. You get preferred access to the organs of other members. In return, you give fellow members first access to your organs. Membership is free and anyone can join. Join Life Sharers now. It's free and it could save your life.
Welcome back to the Scramble. We've got big news in Wisconsin as Tea Party candidate Scott Walker wins the recall race over Tom Barrett. Wisconsin is considered a mostly centrist state, but has leaned Democratic in the past 4 elections and is considered a key battleground in the campaign for the White House. Robert, this question to you. Do you think this win will help Republicans in November?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, with all that went on in Wisconsin, just leading up to the recall election with, Scott Walker basically destroying unions pretty much in Wisconsin and, them fighting back. I mean, this is a huge blow for Democrats in general, and especially Obama, because it shows that Tea Party movement, which some people consider to be a dormant phase, maybe or just crazed, for a little bit in 2010, that's still alive. There's still plenty of people upset about, the state of this country, and a lot of people attribute it to, the Democrats. Me, I attribute it to both sides of the aisle. I feel like there's not really one side you can blame it on, but the fact that they quickly had this up for a recall election and still lost, and I think the margin of victory was greater than when Scott Walker won originally. I mean, this is a huge blow, huge blow.
Brittany, do you agree?
I mean, honestly, I don't think that destroying the union was the best thing for him, and I don't think that it would help him in the election, because how many people, are so, unions help people that in the long run, maybe they're, doing badly or whatever. That's why they join the union, so that they can get the help that they need, because unions help you if you lose your job, they help you get it back. If you, get whatever happens, you lose your house, they try to help you find things, like that. And so those are usually the people that I wouldn't consider them Republican. But I mean, according to the polls, yeah, it might help them, but I just don't think that people that are in a union will be happy about that. It destroyed it. Like you said, it's gone, it's no more. So they're probably like, what are we gonna do now? So they're probably negative on him and everything else happening over there for Republicans. That's what I think.
Janelle, what do you think about this? Is it something that will help Republicans? Is it?
No, because from what I'm hearing, first of all, Tea Party and Republicans are 2 different parties. But on top of that, if you're destroying unions that actually help people, you're tearing them apart, I don't think it's going to help them. I think it's going to destroy them in this point. Because now they're going to really want to go over. Those that probably were Republicans and for the Tea Parties are going to go over to the Democrats, because Democrats is all about helping people at this point with Obama in office, doing everything that he's trying to do. So I think that even though it was sort of like, it seems like it was a huge blow to the Democrats, I think it was a small blow, but a help inch towards his win in November. And yes, I am calling it right now.
Big news on the Scramble today.
I'm calling right now. So I don't think it's going to help them. I think it's going to mess up their campaign.
So even though it's a win, you don't think that it's going to help Republicans in November?
I don't think it's a win.
Elena?
I think it could swing both ways. I mean, since Wisconsin is a swinging state. Well, I know 52% of Wisconsin voters are for Scott Walker stripping away the collective bargaining, but some others feel that democracy is dead, because they can't negotiate their work hours. They have to pay for more towards their pension. So, but like Janelle said, maybe people will resist what he's doing and then go towards the Democratic point. So.
Granted, I'm not saying this is a good thing that they stripped union power. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying, the question is, does this help? The question is, does this help Republicans win the White House in November? Wisconsin being one of, I think, 6 or 7 states that are really up in the air. Because let's be honest, it always comes down to that. It always comes down to about 6 or 7 states here and there. Ohio is going to be there, Florida's going to be there. The state here, Nevada, is one, and Wisconsin. So if you have a state that for the past 4 elections has given its electoral vote to Democrats, and now you're going to be, based on what we just saw here with this election, with this recall election, the voters are looking to vote Republican.
Right.
regardless of whether he considers himself a Tea Party candidate, they're not voting for the Democratic candidate. They don't want to deal with that candidate. They don't want to deal with Obama. So you now have a state that has, like I said, swung for Democrats for the past 4 elections, and now those votes are going to go over to Republicans in a contest that, I mean, every day you look at new polls and it says something different.
Right.
You have a poll one day, it says 50-50.
It's all up in the air.
It's crazy.
So we have no idea, but we do know we have to take a short break. We'll be right back. Please stay with us.
Everyone is a story. Everyone. He passed away last year. It was hard at first when I found out how sick he was. The doctor suggested hospice care at home. He came home, and that was wonderful. And the hospice helped a great deal. They were there whenever we needed them. They helped me take care of him. I didn't know. I didn't know where to start, what to do, what his needs were going to be. As the illness got worse and worse, they were there with help and suggestions and just how to do it, how to cope with it. They made his last months comfortable, pain-free, which was a blessing. We were able to find some joy till the very end.
Savings Man here with a story for you about 2 young spenders named Tommy and Sue. Their parents let them buy whatever they chose, like video games and designer clothes. As they grew older, they spent all their pay on fancy cars, houses, 2 lattes a day. They lived in the moment, never saving a dime. When they tried to retire, they'd run out of time. Working forever is Tom and Sue's fate, so choose to save now before it's too late. Visit our website to find out more, 'cause a happy ending's worth saving for.
Welcome back. Our next topic, North Dakota voters headed to the polls to decide whether or not the state would be allowed to collect property taxes. Proponents of this measure argue that the state has plenty of money and their homes should not be at risk because they can't pay a tax on something they already own. Others say that the money lost would cause the state to raise taxes in other areas in order to recoup lost funds. The voters overwhelmingly voted 78% to keep the property taxes, but what about property taxes? Should they be done away with? Is it something that state incomes need, or are they essential to help fund public necessities? Brittany?
I think they are essential to help fund the public necessities. I mean, we always can use more money for, building new streets and new freeways and making sure that students have the right books and the right computers and the right things. And if that's where our money is going, I mean, well, not necessarily us, but North Dakotans, if that's where their money is going on their property taxes, then by all means, you should have the tax there. Now, if it's going to some government official's pocket and not being spent well, then absolutely not. Don't tax the people who are trying to make their mortgage every month and maybe they can't, do it. Help out where it needs to be helped out. I'm all for it. Go for it. Taxes are in place for a reason because we need them.
So you are with
I'm
North
with
Dakota.
That, yes.
Keep the taxes. Robert?
I mean, they voted to keep taxes, so I'm not going to argue with or against them. That's what they wanted to do. They had the choice, which was great. This is that democracy that we love here in America. You have the choice. They did. I think that it was done perfectly this way. I think it definitely should be done on a state-by-state, basis. They want to look at how the money is coming in to help fund their state. I can't remember the exact figure, but they had a surplus in something in excess of $500 million that they had, just all this money. And the people who were looking at, eliminating property tax were like, well, what do you need more money out of my pocket for if we have this huge surplus? I mean, the thing that comes next to that is that just because we have a surplus doesn't mean we want to start taking stuff away because now we have nothing added to that surplus.
Right.
So now we're not maintaining, we're taking money out. But I'm of the opinion that, we have so many different taxes. You have your payroll taxes in certain states. No, you don't. I know we don't do that here. At least I don't think we don't do that here. Or income tax. I'm sorry. So you have income taxes, you have, different federal taxes. I mean, the government has all kinds of ways to just take money out of your pocket.
Property taxes is just another.
Right, property tax is
way
just
to do
another
that.
one. If it's not necessary, I don't think it should be there.
Elena, do you want to weigh in on that? I mean, what about the point that proponents said that why should we be worried about losing our houses for a tax on something that we already own, essentially?
Right. Well, eliminating the taxes completely, they said that it would increase taxes on oil, taxes on sales tax in general. I mean, if you can decrease the property tax, that's something else. But that would be excellent. But eliminating it, I don't see any positive outcome in it completely. So
you agree?
So yeah, I think they made a good decision.
All right, Janelle. Do you have a disagree with us here? Come on.
I'm from North Carolina, and we pay state taxes, federal taxes, property taxes, whatever taxes, we got to pay it. And I've paid those personally, and I hate it. I understand why, but when they're so expensive to the point where you can't afford it, and they put boots on your car and want to start doing stuff to your house, then we got a problem. I understand the money's supposed to go back into the state, but sometimes it don't even go back into the state like it's supposed to. So I think that it should be decreased. I'm not going to say eliminate, because everything's in order for a reason, but decrease and be a little more lenient on the property taxes, because in this economy, it's very, very hard to keep up with every single bill, HOAs, property taxes, car payments, insurance. Right. It's all adding up. So to add on something like this, and it's at an all-time high, people are going to be mad and want to vote against it. Even though they voted for it, in the long run, people are going to end up voting against this.
So everyone understands that taxes are necessary, but especially for, security of our homes.
Yeah, I think I think that was the biggest fear was, okay, I have, for whatever reason, I lost my job, for whatever reason, and I have to pay this property tax, and it's, I don't know, $2,500. I never paid property taxes, so I don't know, but I'm just throwing a number at $2,500.
They're expensive.
All of a sudden you're like, I'm going to lose my home that's worth $300,000.
We're going to have to take another short break, but stay with us. We will be right back.
There comes a time in life when you need government information,
and you just don't know which way to turn. Well, there's a place you can go to put an end to your frustration.
It's a site that everyone should learn.
USA.gov.
Find your Social Security benefits online.
USA.gov.
Our list of jobs will put you on cloud nine.
USA.gov.
Shop auctions for a used minivan.
The inability to breathe, snot pouring out of your nose, it's a real hairy business. As a firefighter, I'm a student of the weather, and I've noticed that there's a change that's occurred in the last several years. We're having many more large and damaging fires. Sometimes thousands of fires will occur. If the climate changes and we don't have the water we need, California could dry up and blow away.
Savings Man here with a story for you about two young spenders named Tommy and Sue. Their parents let them buy whatever they chose, like video games and designer clothes. As they grew older, they spent all their pay on fancy cars, houses, 2 lattes a day. They lived in the moment, never saving a dime. When they tried to retire, they'd run out of time. Working forever is Tom and Sue's fate, so choose to save now before it's too late. Visit our website to find out more, 'cause a happy ending's worth saving for.
Welcome back. Our final topic today is also about money. Mitt Romney has said that he will not release anything related to his campaign or personal finances unless required by law. Likewise, President Obama has released some information, but still keeps some campaign information a secret. Janelle, should candidates be required by law to release all of their campaign finances, all their campaign finance records, as well as their own personal finance records?
I think campaign records, yes. Personal finances, no. But eventually it's going to come out because we always want to know, who is this person talking to us? Can we be relatable to them? Are they relatable to us? Is he in the same working class? Mitt Romney, of course, is going to say this because this man's a multimillionaire. Okay, he has his own money versus Obama and we talked about this before, he just paid off his student loans 8 years ago, and he's the president of the United States right now. So that just lets you know what's going on. So I do feel like with the campaign, yes, because we want to see where this money is going to. because voters like me and volunteers are also donating to these campaigns. So if you're not using the money that I'm donating to your campaign correctly, and I find out, this is going to be a big issue. Your personal finances, that's your business. But some nosy news reporter, journalist, blogger are going to find out about your personal finances. So you might as well just go ahead and be ready for it. And required by law, it doesn't need to be required by law. It's called hacking and find out the information through sources. So.
Should it be a set standard, though? Should it be required by law, or should there just be a voluntary transparency?
Well, I feel like...
Take it away, Brittany.
Well, I just feel like, I mean, why? First of all, why does it matter what they're doing personally? That's the first question I would ask. Why do you care what Obama bought for his dog or his daughter? Who cares? And Mitt Romney the same for his wife. I mean, what do you care if he bought her a new diamond ring for their wedding anniversary? I don't care. But if you're getting payoffs and things like that on the side for your campaign, if you're getting like money that's fraudulent or something like that that has to do with breaking the law, oh yeah, I mean, then that's something that could be considered, we need to have a law for this, we need to just make it out. But I mean, why is it coming down to this in a presidential election on what are you doing? It should be about the issues that you're trying to solve. It should be about what you're going to do for our country. It should be about what kind of person you are, you know, morally and all things like that. And I don't necessarily need to know that the big oil company gave Mitt Romney $2 million. Okay, I still ain't gonna vote for him anyway. In the long run, that's just not, like, I don't care. That doesn't mean I'm gonna vote for Obama on that. Like, it doesn't matter.
I think this is a conversation. I think this is coming up because it's been in the news that, first of all, Mitt Romney's wife has never worked a day in her life.
Mm-hmm.
She's never earned her own dollar, and she's walking around wearing $1,000 designer T-shirts versus, you know, you got Michelle Obama, she shopped at Kmart, she shopped at Target, and you've seen it happen. So we're relatable to her, and we're not relatable women. Men ain't gonna be relatable to her, you know. But women are relatable to these women because they're a figure to look at beside their man. So if you're wearing $1,000 T-shirts, but yet you talking about how you gonna help us create new jobs and how you love jobs and all this stuff, well, has your wife ever worked? No.
So it is a question. Elena, is that something you'd like to weigh in on?
I mean, I've always wondered why people always look at what designer clothes the president's wife wears, what the president wears. I mean, it really doesn't matter. Like Janelle said, you have to weigh in on who he is as a character, what he's done, and what he's going to do for this country. And I mean, compared to Obama, Obama showed 7 years of tax returns, and Romney has shown only 2010, and he still has to show 2011, and he said he hasn't done that yet, and he said he will do it prior to the November 6th election. So
if required by law.
Yeah, if required by law.
We've got a little bit of time left. Would you like to
well, two things. Number one, there are certain jobs that when you go out and you apply for, they check your credit report. That's part of your finances. Bam. Yes, there should be a law that says that we should, check this. I want to know if you're breaking some sort of law. If you got banks in the Cayman, you got money in Cayman Islands, something like that. Second thing, as it pertains to campaign finance.
I'm so sorry we have got to go, but for everyone here on the panel, thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you here next week. Yay!
It was fun.
All right.